to ask questions in our general Discord if you'd like to learn more. Also to note, the Lari Epoch 10 ends April 8th, so in like 2 days. And for this epoch, we have airdrops for SOS, Galaxy, Jam, HST, and Gruff tokens. So based on your V2 positions, just make sure you associate the applicable tokens in your wallet to get your Lari rewards. So without further ado, let's get this AMA started. So looking at the questions, we received a lot of questions regarding central exchanges. So I'll just go ahead and ask all of them here in sequence, and then the guys can get them answered. So starting us off is from Jose Dominguez, one of our Spanish members. They're wondering, when are we going to see sauce on an exchange? Another user posted, can you please elaborate on what is involved in the central exchange and to incorporate HTS tokens and have the T1 central exchanges provide any indicated timeline for the remaining steps? Another user is also wondering if the team can reveal central exchange lists that we submitted for our listing request. And I think the last one with this is, do you consider doing community fundraiser campaign to fuel major central listing exchanges like Binance, Bybit, and etc.? Over to you, Peter.
Hey everyone, yeah, thanks for joining this AMA. It'll just be me answering questions today. Joseph is a little bit under the weather, but yeah, there's some great questions, so excited to answer them. We totally understand there's a lot of interest in centralized exchange listings. It's a very important question for a lot of our users, and we want you to know it is actively being worked on. We have made progress. But as far as a concrete update from our last AMA, we don't have like a substantial announcement to make this AMA. The only information that we really want to share here is that the conversations are ongoing and we're interfacing with our partners and these exchanges. And the reason for that is we don't want to give a timeline like the one that we received from that tier one exchange we're having conversations with a couple months ago. We still are talking with them, but they gave us a timeline that it could be by the end of the month. We, passed that along, and then it just turned out that that was not accurate. So that's the last thing we want to do is give another timeline that's not met. Regarding the question about the barrier to incorporating the Hedera token service, it is mostly a matter of the of technical priority for the exchanges. So they can either spend 1 hour of technical time to list an ERC20 token. Their system is all set up to do that. Or it could take 2 weeks or longer to integrate a new token standard, so like a Hedera token, into the exchange would take significant dev cycles rather than an ERC20. So it's just that technical lift and the incentives need to be there for them to integrate the Hedera token service. And this has been a focal point of the vast majority of conversations we've been having over the past few weeks. It's no secret that the Hedera token service is not integrated on many exchanges. That is kind of the hard initial work that needs to be done, is integrating the token service before HTS tokens can be listed. We are just as hopeful that HTS will be broadly integrated on centralized exchanges, and that should broaden accessibility to HTS tokens and open the gate for more HTS tokens to be listed. So long story short, I know it's taken longer than we originally anticipated. We passed along the information we had at the time. Progress is being made. These conversations have moved forward, and we are talking with more centralized exchanges as well. We understand that this is a high priority for the community, and we're working on it. When we do have tangible updates that are worth sharing, we will do so immediately. Again, last thing we want to do is provide another timeline that may not be met by the exchanges. So we're just going to keep our heads down and work as efficiently as we can and announce any information on integrations as soon as they are confirmed to be completed. So we'll let you guys know as soon as we know.
Thank you so much for that, Peter. Our next question is from Kakash. Why isn't the market cap verified on CoinMarketCap?
CoinMarketCap needs for the token to be on at least 3 tracked exchanges, which meet certain criteria. It includes liquidity, the 2% depth, number of trades, some other stuff. Sauce is currently only on one tracked exchange, which is MEXC. So that is why the market cap is not verified on CoinMarketCap. We went back and forth with them in a ticket, and that was the reason they gave. So in the case that Sauce is listed on at least 3 tracked exchanges, we would be able to follow up in that ticket to get the market cap verified on CoinMarketCap.
Thanks for the insight. The next question is why are we delaying stage 2 and 3 of single-sided staking?
Yeah, so certain items on the roadmap were prioritized ahead of phase 2 and 3 of single-sided staking. Notably, last year we were pretty much solely focused on SauceSwap version 2. That was the priority, and that turned out to be a massive success in terms of on-chain metrics, namely volume, TVL, unique active wallets. All of those went up, several fold after the launch of version 2. So it turned out that was a good move. Integrating auto pools, as Pineapple mentioned at the intro, which we did about 2 weeks ago, then opened the door for some institutions to easily provide liquidity in version 2 contracts. We don't have concrete information or announcements there to make, but that is another conversation that's ongoing. It's a development we're very excited about, getting some institutional capital going into version 2 contracts via those vaults provided by Ichi. And now that those items are behind us, governance, specifically on-chain token-weighted voting is, it's been a planned key utility of our protocol token Sauce. Since the original documentation, we are working to bring that to fruition. And as mentioned in the last AMA, phase 2 and 3 of single-sided staking are still prioritized for development. It's reflected in our roadmap, in our documentation. There's just some items that got front-loaded ahead of them in the last year or so.
Great, thank you so much for that. Our next question is from Pierre. Could you provide any details, timelines, etc., on the workaround that you're implementing, which will effectively eliminate slippage? And Joseph had replied back to this. The primary cause of slippage on Hedera-based DEXs is mirror node delays resulting in stale quotas. SauceSwap is currently implementing a workaround that will effectively eliminate slippage, and this was posted via Twitter.
Yeah, so just to provide a little bit more color to this, what Joseph was referring to in his tweet is a way to achieve greater speed and efficiency in getting fresh quotes and updating quotes for swaps prior to executing trades. So the result of that would be a decrease in contract reverts, specifically failed transactions due to slippage exceeding the slippage tolerance. And a user could also have a lower threshold for slippage tolerance given that quotes are updating faster. So it's not necessarily eliminating slippage, but just speeding up the quotes. The way this would be achieved is reducing reliance on the mirror node for quotes. And instead, we'd be fetching quotes via database querying, which would be much faster. So that is actually currently being worked on. It should be in the next development update. But that's what Joseph was referring to in that tweet.
Great, thanks so much for that clarification. Moving on, our next question is from an anonymous community member. Will SaucerSwap be offering any lending services? If so, would this have any impact on TVL?
SaucerSwap does not have any plans to offer lending services. There are a number of lending protocols, however, that are currently in development on Hedera, and some of them should be launching relatively soon. I want to say the next few weeks, but probably just check their socials for more information on their launch. But we are aware of three in particular, and they're three forks of different prominent lending protocols from other networks. So there should be a good variety there. And the effect of these lending protocols is expected to be positive on network-wide TVL, and of course, kind of the interop between DEXs and lending protocols is well established on other networks, and it is fairly symbiotic.
Great, that sounds awesome. Do we have any plans for perpetual trading on Saucer Swap?
At the moment, we do not have plans to support perpetuals on Saucer Swap. However, Joseph has spoken about this before, I believe, in a previous AMA, but an order book structured DEX like a Club or something similar would be an excellent fit on Hedera. Hedera is kind of uniquely set up to support something like that, specifically if he was using the Hedera consensus service. And Lehman has kind of talked about that as well, how, you can have an order book, kind of hosted or facilitated via the Hedera consensus service. So that would be an interesting application. And we are looking forward to the creation of this. I think it's probably only a matter of time before somebody creates it, whether it's another team or, perhaps the Saucer Swap team can do this down the line. It is something that we've kind of kicked around and brainstormed about for the last year or so. Never planned for development, but it is really interesting. At the time, however, we are focused on the current Saucer Swap version 1 and version 2 protocols rather than perpetuals DEX or like an order book club structured DEX.
Great, thanks for that. A question from Box Monkey. Considering Hashpack is part of the DeFi Alliance, will the PAC token have to go through the same PEC process as every other project?
Yeah, so just as a preface, I guess, we are really happy to be joined by Hashpack on the Hashgraph DeFi Alliance. They have been an awesome contributing member in the last few meetings. We've made a lot of progress, and we actually should be onboarding quite a few new members. And this kind of relates to those lending protocols that I was speaking about before in the Oracle. So, I think there's going to be some good stuff from the HDA. As partners with Hashpack, we do work closely with their team, and we have done so for a long time. And we're very excited about all the collaborations that we can explore given their new token launch. It's very exciting. As a decentralized application, however, all projects do go through the same listing process, including that PEC Plonky Buck collectible vote for default listing. However, Hashback is well informed about this process. They're well prepared to navigate the process, and we are looking forward to a timely listing when they are ready to do so.
Great, thanks for the insight. And Box Monkey follow up with another question. Can you explain the reasoning behind the PEC vote changes, please? Are we expecting more top-tier projects launching soon?
Yeah, sure. Good question. So this relates to the requirements for a default listing. It has recently been changed to 100,000 USD in token liquidity and a 70% supermajority vote from the PEC NFT holders. And the rationale behind this was that the previous requirements were designed at a time when on-chain liquidity was relatively much lower. And as liquidity and activity grew, so did the number of token listing requests going through kind of like the default listing process. Specifically, we saw a lot of tokens just going straight for a default listing when they weren't meeting the criteria. And we revisited the criteria for default listing and found the updated requirements to be better suited to the state of Saucer Swap and the network. And again, the amount of default listing requests that are submitted just has scaled up quite a bit. And it has been increasing over the last couple of weeks. It is worth noting that the listing categories will be revisited in the coming weeks as we adopt a model that is more automatic and based on on-chain voting, on-chain activity, for example, volume. And the idea is that the tokens in the menus are what users want to see when they want to see them. And there's not kind of a cumbersome listing process. It can be mostly automated while also allowing anyone to find a token that has a pool on SaucerSwap easily to, really embrace the permissionless aspect of SaucerSwap. We also should be using DaVinci Pix for hosting some metadata for tokens. So that's a pretty cool service. We are looking into the feasibility of that, but that would also further decentralize the token listing process, as well as token descriptions. So token issuers can update descriptions without going through kind of a type form. They could just do it through the DaVinci web app. So we will revisit that conversation later when we have more information on it, but that's our current thinking on number one, the changes to the requirements for default listing, and then kind of what we are thinking about doing after that.
Great, thanks for that, Peter. Switching gears a little, this is from Neo517. What kind of partnerships will the SaucerSwap team be looking to have in the future, which can help the platform grow? Do we have any leads?
Yeah, so we are always looking for new ways to collaborate, both with protocols already involved in DeFi, as well as institutions that have maybe a more traditional finance background that are interested in participating in DeFi. And to that end, we would like to see more collaborations with projects that are tokenizing real world assets on the Hedera network. It's our belief that this is a pretty unique opportunity for DeFi on Hedera specifically that can exploit some of the specific advantages of the network. Additionally, we are hopeful about network level integrations with some interop solutions like bridges that can allow liquidity to flow to and from the Hedera network with more ease and volume. Hashport is great, but it is the only bridge right now, so we would love to see more bridges coming online, and we expect to see that hopefully in H1 of this year, but sometime this year, I think we'll see some more interoperability between Hedera and other networks. And to that point, we would be able to collaborate at a protocol level with those bridges to facilitate a better user experience. One thing that we've had kind of ready for a long time is a front-end bridge integration. We had originally designed this with Synapse in mind, but it can work with a number of different bridges, whether that's Hashport, Synapse, or another bridge. And the idea is that by integrating their contracts into our web application, we can make it much easier for liquidity to flow to Hedera, which solves kind of a major pain point right now of relatively low bridge to liquidity on Hedera, and also just contribute to a better user experience. We would also just like to mention that we did recently announce a partnership with the Hashgraph Association, which is a nonprofit organization working to drive adoption of Hedera-powered enterprise-grade solutions and decentralized applications. We are hopeful that through that partnership, we will be introduced to institutions that may offer opportunities to collaborate in terms of tokenization of real world assets. Again, that is something that we are pretty keen on exploring this year. As well as facilitating some liquidity operations that would meet their incentive requirements while also bringing some deeper liquidity to SaucerSwap and its users. So that's something that we're really happy about, the partnership with the Hashgraph Association, and we're looking forward to the introductions that they're planning on making.
Awesome. These are very exciting times. Another question from a anonymous user. Is SaucerSwap planning to switch to smart nodes technology from HBAR Suite and the SaucerSwap DEX in the future? Do you have any thoughts on that, Peter?
Yeah, we don't have any plans to switch to smart node technology. We're not going to knock any other projects building on the network. It's great that people are building on Hedera. We will simply say we're very happy with the efficiency of Saucer Swap, and changing the fundamental workings would, in our view, bring negligible value to our users and would potentially bring unnecessary risk or introduce unnecessary risk and just some uncertainties to the protocol. The Hedera EVM, the Hedera Smart Contract Service, is incredibly robust, and it works great with the Hedera token service through precompiles. That's kind of the basis and the bread and butter of SaucerSwap. That's what gives SaucerSwap its unique advantages, and we just don't see a reason to really improve upon that basis. There is also kind of challenge enough creating integrations with other protocols and networks with just that difference in the Hedera token service. I mean, look no further than the centralized exchange listings. The Hedera token service being the key differentiator there caused a little bit of friction. And with the difference, between the Hedera EVM and smart nodes, we are pretty confident that the Hedera EVM is more interoperable to allow for some seamless integrations with data aggregators and DeFi protocols, as well as the kind of broader community of Web3 developers. So, short answer, no, we are not planning to switch to smart node technology.
Great, thanks for the insight. Another question is from Septia. Can the team go into detail about the missed Lari airdrops and the recent solution to fix that issue?
Sure. Yeah. So to provide some context here, for the last Larry airdrop, we had a delay between the end of the reward period ending with the airdrop for the next period, or sorry, the airdrop for that period that ended. And the reason was that there were some missed events from the mirror node. Specifically, there were some burn events that were missed. So, burning an NFT liquidity position, we missed those events. There was a small number of them, but it painted an incomplete picture of the liquidity hours for a small number of accounts. We corrected this and then sent out the appropriate rewards to the accounts that received less rewards than they should have. And going forward, we implemented a check for missed events of this nature, specifically those missed burn events, but we're also checking for mint events as well, so that we can catch it before initiating that Larry airdrop script. So it was from some missed events, and we have since implemented checks to prevent that from happening again.
Great, thanks for that, Peter. Just a quick note, the Epoch 10 Lari ends April 8th, so feel free to associate those appropriate tokens so you can get your Lari rewards. This next question is from another anonymous user. Are there plans to introduce saucer decks to another blockchain like BNB, Ethereum, Optimism? And following this is why not create other pools and peg sauce to other crypto ecosystems, just like Gruff did to their coin?
Yeah, so we currently don't have plans to go multi-chain with SaucerSwap. The thinking is that we are first and foremost the leading DEX on Hedera. We still see significant room for growth and development on Hedera. And Hedera is the home of SaucerSwap. We believe that our work here is important for the overall growth of the network. And frankly, we're just not interested in hedging our bets, so to speak, by building on other networks at this time. We see a lot of value in Hedera and the community. If in some time Hedera is doing very well and SaucerSwap can grow further by going multi-chain, we are open to that possibility. And that would ultimately be a decision for the DAO.
Awesome, thanks. Another question from a anonymous user. Will SaucerSwap make, or does SaucerSwap have any plans to make official meme coin, or maybe officially connecting with independent projects like Sauce Inu for promotional purposes?
SauceSwap will not make any meme coin. No, no plans for that. SauceSwap is also not officially affiliated with any meme coins that have been created, and we have no plans to be officially affiliated with any meme coins going forward. No.
Great, thanks for that. Oh, this next one is from HBarb. What happened to the AMA summaries post on Twitter? Following up with a question similar to that is from Zafiro. Will the AMA be typed up to be easily read and translated to different languages?
Yeah, so for the AMA summaries posted on Twitter, we can do this. We actually get them done. Pineapple and Kimchi do a great job creating those summaries. The reason that we haven't posted them from the SauceSwap Labs account is Cynical Septia, one of the community members, has just done an awesome job of creating kind of AMA summaries and transcripts. And we just haven't really seen a need to post the English summaries to our Twitter account. But if they are appreciated and helpful, just let us know in the general chat. You can just shoot us a message there, and if you like them, we'll continue to post them. That's no problem. Because we do have Twitter accounts tailored for non-English speaking users, we have a Spanish speaking account, a Korean account, and a Japanese account. We do post the summaries to those accounts in the respective languages just for accessibility. But again, yeah, if you would like those English summaries, if they're helpful for you or provide value, just let us know and we'll resume posting them.
Great. Well, that pretty much concludes our AMA today. So thanks, Peter, and thank you all for joining today's AMA in this wonderful month of April. So hopefully this answered some of your pressing questions, and if something is still unclear, just feel free to ask us in our general Discord. Before we end it today, the team would like to award a Dog Star to one of our members. So for those that are new, Dog Stars are monetary awards given to members that have helped the community. This can either be through answering questions, being very helpful, promotions, content generation, or just being awesome. So today's Dog Star Award goes to Leonardo. Congratulations, man, and thank you for all of your contributions. That concludes our AMA today, and have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend.